Okay, welcome back to our fourth video in the Speed Speller class by Nichathan Gaming. Thank you for watching. It's my first series, so very exciting. Now, where we left off, we had just created our play and reset buttons, and of course it is perfectly fine to just have a normal button here where you go into here and you change the text to say something like play, and then you can see that it's a play button. But I had decided to go a little bit fancier with my own custom made play button to also show you how to drag images. So now we need one last thing for our game control, and that's going to be a drop down for our difficulty level. But first, let's create an empty and let's say difficulty level. Now we want to add two things. Let's add a text, which will say difficulty level text. I'm actually going to copy that, and here I will call it the, well shoot, good thing I copied it. I'll call it the difficulty level. Just because I like it, I will set the font size to bold, alignment to centered, best fit from 10 to 300, and let's set the height to 60. Looks like it needs a bit more width. Let's set that to 200, maybe even up to 320 since everything else is big. Then we need one more thing on our difficulty level. That will be the drop down. So as always, right click difficulty level, go to UI and find drop down. Now of course this will be the difficulty level drop down. And to change this drop down, let's see, it is of course a little bit small as well. And things are getting a bit jumbled right now too. So first let's increase the Y value of this, move it up about here. You can also have it horizontal if you want, that's perfectly fine as well. But let's set it to 350, or I will set it to 350 Y. The text can stay where it is, but let's drop our drop down to, sure, negative 60 seems good. Since this height is 60, dropping it 30 plus an extra 30 seems to work fine. Yeah, we've got a 30, oh shoot, we've got a 30 barrier there. Now as you can see, it says option A and option A. So changing the options here will change what shows up here. Now we want to have 5 difficulty levels, and our 5 difficulty levels are going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I need to add 2 more. I'm just going to say 0, 1, oh, that's not 1, that's another 0. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, if you don't like this, people don't usually like numbers, so let's say, we can set it to very easy. Difficulty 1 will be easy, 2 will be medium, 3 will be hard, and 4 will be insane. Feel free to name these whatever you want. As for adding sprites, no need to add sprites. Don't really see anything, so it might just only pop up when you click the drop down. Okay, we don't need to check when the value is changed either, since this is not going to edit anything on value changed. But you can have that feature in something else that you do, or in this if you want it later. But if you look at it now, so let's actually click the play and you can see how it looks on the screen. If I click the drop down now, yeah, things are pretty fine, so we don't need to change any of these. But let's see, I think I'll try to make my label to be bold, just because it's a bit easier to see. My arrow is just an image, so we can't really change that. And I can even change my font size to best fit, since you know that I like best fit. Now in our template, this is the thing that pops up when we click the drop down. So let's actually pop this open. Okay, then we have our viewport and we have the scroll bar. I'm not going to edit the scroll bar, but we'll change the viewport, the content, the item, let's open it up a little bit, item checkmark, and item label. Now I want to do to the item label what I just did to this label. So I'll set it to bold. This is fine, and let's set the best fit from 10 to 300, just like this. Now both of our labels should match. I could make my check mark a bit bigger if I wanted to, but I don't at this time. So now I'm going to turn off my template again, otherwise it would look funny. And I believe that we are done with all of our coding, so we can get set up with our scripting, and then we will start doing the actual scripting in video number 5, our next one. But for now, let's go to our project, to our assets, let's right click and create a new folder. This one we'll call our scripts. Now in our scripts, we will want 2 script files. So I'm going to create a C# script in the scripts folder, and this first script that I create, I want it to be called the words. Actually, let's make the game controller first. So I'll call it the game controller, and then let's create one more, and this one will be used to generate the words that drop down from the top of the screen. So I'll just call this word, not like the yo word, but like a spoken word or a written word in this case. I can also drag our game objects onto things, because we will need something that is called a prefab. We can work on the prefab right now actually. Okay, so now let's create a new area. So I'm going to create an empty object on the canvas, and I'll call this the game area. I want it to fit the screen again, so 0, 0, 0, and 0. And I'm going to drag the game controller onto it. Of course, the game controller does nothing right now, and we want to do one more thing, which is creating a prefab. So I'll create another folder. I will call this prefabs. This just means that it is prefabricated, so something that you create ahead of time. And we want to create a text object, I believe. Yes, we want to create an object for our image. So let's go to our game area and let's create a UI image. And it will look just like this, but let's stretch it out a little bit. Let's make it a width of 300 and a height of 100 is fine. We will also want to go to our scripts and add the word script to it, although we are not using it just yet. Then let's right click on the image and add a UI text. Now let's give things names as always. So let's call this the word text, and instead of image, let's call it the word prefab image. For the text, we want it to fit, but unlike usual, we want to give it a little bit of a buffer or padding. So I'm going to give it a padding of 5. And as always, I do want to center it. I want to make it bold. And I'll set the best fit to 10 to 300. And you can see that it has the new text. Now, to create a prefab, I will left click and hold on my Word prefab image, drag it down to prefab, and you can see that it is blue. If it's not blue, then try to figure out what you did wrong. Maybe look at your console for some errors. Okay, but now that mine is blue, I will click delete. I can still see it here. If you don't see it here, then you need to redo the process again. But okay, now let's work on making everything work in our next video, video number 5. So as always, thank you for watching.